You, what is good? What is going on? And welcome back to another video. So today's day 238 days of no fap and semen retention. I know I don't always say the semen retention part, but that is a big key element. Love it. Water. Gotta love water. Okay, so yeah, like nothing crazy really happened today at all. Just a normal day. I did get a lot of rest today. It was kind of a lazy day for me, in which I'm off from the airport, so I only have to just work my quick little 5 hours at the call center. So I was able to get things done. Because again, I'm planning on my trip back home to New Jersey. Which should be really exciting. I really can't wait to see my family. Like I said, it is unfortunate circumstances, but again, God's timing is everything. And once you can understand that, and like I said, it plays into understanding the good and the bad that we experience, or what we identify as good and bad. And when you understand it's all part of just this divine energy, divine, I guess, purpose, or whatever you want to call it, right? At the end of the day, it's all just completely perfect as it was already written, so again, like I said, this originally was going to be just my daughter's summer trip back home, but like I said, oddly enough, my grandmother passed and we're having a funeral even as I was trying to figure out what week that I should be able to travel. So like I said, everything happened perfectly. So again, funeral is unfortunate circumstances to for family to get together, but the blessing in it is that I get to see a lot of my family that I haven't seen in a long time. Like, I mean, my own mother I haven't seen in at least 2 years. So, this is a big deal for sure. But yeah, man. So today was a good day. Definitely a good day. Oddly enough, I had a really interesting conversation with an old friend, and there was one thing I had noticed, and it was like she was just bringing up like just a bunch of old shit, like old stuff that been, and I'm like, why are we? That still bothers you, and it made me realize that for a lot of people, right, whether it's friends, coworkers, whatever, like literally when something happens and people are hurt, and mind you, and this even to a degree is even how I used to handle things, there's this thing about closure, right? That a lot of people, they really kind of hold on to that. And it's like, you are truly limiting yourself and completely handicapping yourself. It's like if you, and like I said, and this is for any situation, whether the person's an ex, whether the person's a friend that just kind of fell off, or whatever the case may be. If you ever found yourself like, man, if only I could just talk to them to get closure or clarity regarding a situation, it's like, yo, you may not get that conversation for a month, 2 months, 4 years, 6 years, 10 years. You see what I'm saying? Like, and you're holding on because it's like, man, this closure, wanting closure for me in a lot of cases is simply it's almost like you're keeping the door open, or you're choosing to kind of live in that space of when you were hurt until you can have that conversation with that person to relieve that hurt. And don't get me wrong, like this was, a friend, she and I, we did fall off, shit happens, but apparently it had really hurt her that we fell off, how we did. And of course, I just explained, hey, listen, I was going through my shit, this, that, and the third, so on and so forth. And she was like, well, when it comes to me, I was going through my things, and it's like, I really, it hurt that you couldn't be there. And I was like, well, my bad. Like, I don't ever remember like missing a call or, deliberately not accepting communications. I said, we've never had an issue like that. I said, but, with what you're referring to, that was, years ago. It's like, I can't remember a missed call from back then or a missed text. It's just specifically if it had anything to do with you, like there wouldn't have been that issue. But like I said, it kind of amazed me because with where I am in my life now, there's a lot of things that I gained my own closure from and with, whereas for her, it was almost like she was reliving it and still kind of feeling however she felt in that moment from like 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm like, whoa, like, and even as I was simply telling her, like, hey, listen, you have to change how these things affect you. At the end of the day, it's for me, it's water under the bridge. I mean, I'm not saying that to invalidate how you're feeling regarding it, but damn, like, you're bringing up stuff I really don't remember. Like, I hardly remember what I did last week. But again, I'm in such a state of growth that, I don't allow past things to affect me, in that way. Where I am now, it's like, hey, listen, I may have been hurt that I had to go through certain things alone, but my understanding of things now is that I had to go through that because that there were blessings in there that only I needed to receive in that moment. It wasn't for me to share that or look to get those blessings while interacting with someone else at that time. And that's why I said the concept of closure, it's debilitating, like it really handicaps the shit out of people from truly healing. And I'm not saying just go out there and just, I'm gonna deal with my trauma alone. I'm not saying that. I mean, yes, some of us, like, you may be afforded that conversation to have, with someone that has hurt you, whether, like I said, whether it's a friend, an ex-lover, whatever the case. But in many instances, you may not get that conversation. So what do you do with your life when that just doesn't happen? Like, how are you living? Are you growing? Are you living as your best self? I mean, are you just accepting things just as they are? Or is it a part of you kind of has this mask on? Because again, this is how I used to do things, right? Like, I know I would sit there and be like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna do me, but you're in a very head energy, very protective. It's like you're living more through your ego and not through your heart. And it's like, damn, and even though I'm saying I'm moving on, I'm saying, whatever, there's still a part of you that still wants that closure, and like I said, you may not get the chance to have that conversation for years. And even if you did meet that person again and you guys finally had a chance to talk, it's gonna be real awkward you bringing up old shit like that. It's gonna be super awkward. But like I said, again, it was a necessary conversation for her, for sure, and I had to put myself in a different space, to kind of speak to it better, because unfortunately, where I am and have had made peace with so many things in my life, me stating about having peace towards it was coming across as if I was being dismissive or not accountable for things or whatever it was. And it was just weird that the more I spoke to it, I'm like, well, this is my truth, now, because I had to grow out of that version of me, that you've known me as, for ages. But it just seemed like, although I can acknowledge, the hurt that I caused in our friendship, it just seemed like it was just like every time I said something, she was just throwing it back at me, like, see, like, you don't even be accountable. I'm like, okay. Eventually, I just say, yo, what do you want me to say? Because apparently, I'm not saying it right. And apparently you're not being direct enough for me to understand what is your actual question or what are your actual expectations, because every time I ask you, you say it, and then I address it, you're like, oh, see, you're still not getting it. Listen, I don't have time for that. You know, so I got into being very, direct, but and don't get me wrong, I wasn't, insincere. It's just a matter of, I knew I had to be very careful with my wording, because for me, it was just like, listen, I wanted her to have her understanding that things didn't really play out the way she understood it, but more importantly, again, this was so long ago. I was really just like, what the fuck, yo? Like, damn, my bad. So, but again, it's all part of growth. It is. It's all part of growth. But, for me, it was nice to at least recognize the fact that that I can move past things without having this desire for this closure, which I think in its own way, it's a very needy kind of thing, like I think, damn, I'm coming to some new realizations, but like closure in and of itself, it's a very like a needy behavior, it's like you almost can't move on correctly or appropriately unless you have this conversation and the person explains, what their behavior to you, and they explain like what they did and whether, like I said, they just went ghost, whether, if it was an ex-lover, if they cheated on you or something like that, and like I said, a lot of times just accept it for what it is. Like nobody, like, you don't truly need closure in that way, or at least to me, that my understanding now is that that's not really how closure really works. Like when people seek closure, you're just kind of just sitting around just waiting to, speak to the person and expect them to be honest enough with you about something that either, at least in my case, like I said, ghosted on the friendship. I was in my own relationship just trying to make things work there. And, it was like, I'm no longer in that space to really have a full understanding as to what I did, or, but again, I apologize, I accepted it, but it was just weird that it still had like this negative effect, on her. And, it's like, well, damn, how have you been living your life since then? Because there's a lot of things that I went through that I get my own closure from, and I'm not in a bad space about it. I'm not, like it's not like if you establish your own closure and you decide to start healing from your shit, it's not like you have to hate the person that hurt you. No, it's just accepting it for what it is. Okay, whatever this person put me through, that was necessary for my journey, for my growth, so that I can fall back in line with my purpose. Like that's what this is all about. All right, so of course I'm gonna leave it at that. I got a busy day tomorrow. I picked up a shift at the airport, so I'll be there from 8 a.m. to about 11:30 at night. But either way, gotta make that money before vacation. And yeah, man, as always, we show gratitude to the universe and to God, because we are grateful for the life that we have, also that we can manifest the life that we want and deserve. All right, so either way, I love y'all, I appreciate y'all, and we'll do it again tomorrow for sure. Peace.